Dr. Kim, with Dr. Kim. Live to be well. Live to be well with Dr. Kim, with Dr. Kim.
Good evening and welcome to Live to Be Well. What is Live to Be Well all about? Mind, body, and soul being collectively together with God. I'm your host, Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin, all the way from Detroit, Michigan. And I just have to say, go Lions! You know, we have truly been in a winning streak, and now we are going to take it all the way in. All right. So if you all about the Lions, let me hear from you. Go Lions, go Lions. So again, having that team mindset and looking at the impact of what a team mindset can bring about, and that's a win. Because I tell you, they thought they had that game, and then the Lions came in and took it on home. And so many people from the Michigan area went to Houston, Texas. And I tell you, they bought the win back. So congratulations to the win. All right, Marie. Go Lions, go Lions. I see you, girl. So we are all about the Lions, and we're going to keep, lifting them up in prayer because they are Christians. A lot of them are Christians on the NFL league and in the NBA league, and they believe in the power of God. So I'm excited. Thank you, Marie, for joining us on Live to Be Well. All right, Norma. Good evening, Norma. God bless you, beautiful lady. Thomas Maycock, hello. So good to have you all on Live to Be Well. And I mean, it's just an exciting time. Well, we're going to be doing a lot of broadcasts, Norma, on holiday and what's going on during the holidays and how it impacts people, especially people with grief. It's not easy for a lot of people. They're like, please, can we just skip over the holidays? I don't even want to talk about the holidays. I don't want to see a Christmas light. Well, it's because they're hurting. They're grieving, and they don't know how to get through that time period. It's almost like give me a cover and I'll cover myself up so I don't have to deal with it. But there are a lot of people who love the holidays. So we have to find a happy medium to help those who are grieving, who've lost loved ones during the holiday season, who may be alone and it's difficult to enjoy the holiday season in loneliness. So, and there are people who are going through in their families and marriages and with their children, and the holiday season seems like a blur. So we're going to be coming back to you talking about, the holiday blues and how to get through them. Well, tonight we're going to talk about keeping your circles tight. Marie and Norma and Thomas, I am blessed to have you in my circle. I am so blessed. You're good people. You're kind people. You're loving people. And there's so many of you out there listening right now and be on the replay. And why is it so important? And please join in dialogue with ML6 and I when I bring her in shortly. Why is this so important? And we're going to read your comments shortly. But why is it so important? Why did we go with this topic tonight? Behind the election, we thought about dealing with how many people really switch their votes to the Republican Party and how many people switch from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party. But who is in your circle? Can you really trust those who are in that circle? Those you talk to, confide in? Do you trust those in your circle? Do you really know who they really are? You go through something, you can tell if your friends are there for you. And if you're not there for them when they need you to be, does that mean I'm not your friend? I just couldn't be there at that moment. So we're going to talk about how do we keep our circles tight. And I want you to be very protective of your circle. So we're going to get into it. Let's bring ML6 in and let's go to our comments. Hey, ML6.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, dear?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good.
I just have one question for. I just have one question for you. I want
Yes.
just one question for you.
No,
What's the
no.
record?
Oh,
No, it's not even that. What's the Lions' record right now?
Wait a minute. 7-1, 7-1, or 8-1.
It's 8-1. Now this is it's,
Yay!
I find this to be really interesting because I just want you all to know my mother is not a football fan.
What? Yeah, yes,
And she
I
did.
am.
She did not get on the bandwagon until they started winning, because in all the years of the Lions losing, she was not on. She wasn't watching games. She wasn't. She wasn't with us shooting in the gym. Now all of a sudden that they winning, she watching games and she's all supportive and we what, ma'am, ma'am,
I'm
ma'am.
having a Lions football party.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm supporting my Lions.
Okay.
I'm not a traitor. You
I didn't
know,
say you was a traitor. I just said that you only with us when we winning. You not with us when we losing. And this all
listen.
goes to play. This all goes a part of being with your circle. Because a lot of times, only people want to be with you when you're winning, but they not with you when you
Ooh,
losing. And so you have to
ooh,
be very mindful of that, of people that
ooh.
just come along when you're doing great. Who's with me when I'm doing bad? Who's with me when
Oh,
I'm going through the hard times to get to the good times? Who's watching me
okay,
go
okay,
through the pitfalls and through the mud?
okay. I feel you, Micah. I hear you. Okay, but because they are 8-1, I feel good about my Lions. I'm going to support them
No,
now going
I mean,
forward.
I'm not judging you for that, but I just want you to know, like, as a Lions fan who's been a Lions fan since
Birth,
childhood, like
yes,
I
birth.
have watched them go through. So where I see, and it's okay to be with them when they're winning, and I see, and I love the excitement and everything. But when we was 0-20 or whatever the case may be, when we weren't winning any games, it
Mhm.
was one of, for me as a Lions fan, my goal for them was always to do better than they did the year before.
Right.
So there was one season when they won 0 games, but then they
Zero
came back
games.
the next game and they won 1 game. And to me, that was a win because I felt like they did better than the season before.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
even this year, they're doing better than last season. And if they
Yes.
don't win another game, they did better than they did last season. Yes,
Come
the
on
ultimate goal
now.
is to get the ring and to get the Super Bowl. But for me, realistically speaking, as a fan, I'm a realistic
Yeah.
fan. I'm not an
Okay.
obnoxious fan.
Okay.
I say, as long as you do better than the year before, that shows
Okay.
progression.
That's what I
That
like
shows
that.
progression.
That's right. See, everybody, this is my child. I gave birth to her. Isn't she just so intellectual? But Micah, I took
Yes.
okay, what says some of them you don't know how they feel about you until they get mad and turn others on their side. That's true, Thomas. That's very true. But Micah, I took you to your first football Lions game. I took you to your first Pistons game. Come on now. I didn't take you to a hockey game, but I took you
But I
and
did go to a hockey game. I just didn't go with you.
you didn't go with me, but I
Mm-mm.
took you to your first game. And I remember, ooh, you fussed, and I want to go see the Miami Heat. And we drove all the way to Auburn Hills for you to see the Miami Heat. And I said, okay, let's
Because
go.
one thing about me, ladies and gentlemen, I've always been about sports.
Yes, she has.
My
She's
father,
always
my daddy would be in one room and I would be in another room and we'd be going back and
hollering.
forth. And mommy would be like, y'all don't want to watch the game together in the same room? And we were like, no, that takes away the excitement. Because most of the times we were going against each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was,
That's
if the Lions weren't playing, we had a rival team going against each other. So that was
true.
me and my daddy's thing or whatever. Mommy would just be so confused she couldn't understand. This is also the same woman who, when I started playing basketball, she didn't like it because she just couldn't
Oh,
understand it. And then when I started to play football, because I played football with the guys, I was playing tackle, and they
you
told me I had
played
to get off the
tackle.
team, but that was something that I
Right,
wanted to do because I've
right.
always been about sports.
Well, you remember when that lady knocked you down, I was ready to fight somebody who's in your circle.
Right.
You all banded me from coming to the games
I
because I
asked her
got
to
too
not come back to
emotional.
the games. I asked her to not come back
I
to the
could not.
games.
Norma, I got so emotional. I said, no, my baby on the floor. And people saying that's what they do. I said, no, not my baby. Okay.
Right.
So I was banned from coming to the games. So
Well, I just wanted to make that point of how, since we're talking about circles, how sometimes it's you, when you're with people in the good times, that's great. But
yeah,
sometimes you have to be mindful of the people that are also with you during the bad times, that had to watch you through your development and through your growth to get
yeah,
to even where you are now. Those people matter too, and those people deserve just as they have a different level of pride and happiness for where you are now because they saw you as you were going through. So I just wanted to bring that up. I also wanted to say it has been a week since the elections. And I know for a lot of people, including myself, there was a heaviness that went that was felt when the
Mhm.
election results came in.
Mhm.
I know that, listen, I love the Lord with all my heart and all my soul. But when those election results came in, I had to feel it. And I remember that next morning I called my mom,
Mhm.
and she hit me with the God is still on the throne, God is still this. And I was like, I'm not trying to hear all that right now. I just had to stop her because I said to let her know through my tears. I had to feel, because I understood beyond all of that, like the realities. Yes, I get it. God is still on the throne. But so often as Black women and as Black people, we feel that it's not okay for us to feel things, natural emotions, that we have to immediately cover it with a scripture. We have to immediately cover it with these words of, what God is, and we don't take the time to feel something. I just want to let you all know that for anyone that was out there that was feeling it and really allowed yourself to feel it. I stayed in the bed that whole day. I just needed time to really wrap my head around the fact, man, America really doesn't love Black women.
Mhm.
You can be the best, you can do the best, you can do all the things right, but when it comes down to it, we're not appreciated. At the same time, salute to the 92% that showed up to the polls and did what they were supposed to do,
Right.
Black women. And I want to say salute to Black men, because what the media tried to do, they tried to make it seem like the Black men weren't
Right.
with us.
Right.
And it was a very small percentage of Black men. That's 16% of Black men that weren't, and it was 8% of Black women that did not understand the assignment. But you know what? Y'all gonna have to deal with
Okay.
that on your own time.
Right.
But I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge, for any of you that may have felt like I felt, this heaviness, the sadness, and this weight, that you were not alone. I felt
Mhm.
that with you, and
You
it did
did.
not
You
mean that
did.
I did not love God. I did not believe that He is on the throne, but there was just a sadness that literally, I mean, I was sitting down and I would just randomly start crying,
Mhm.
because it was just such a heavy loss. Like you're thinking about, and when you know what's at stake, and when you know, like I know politics, I know this thing. And so when you know, you're like, y'all really. And what's
Mhm.
interesting about all of this is this.
Mhm.
Now there is oh no, do you know that one of the number one Google searches after the election was, how can I change my vote?
No.
And the number two was, what is a tariff?
Wow.
A lot of these people have no idea that Obamacare is actually the same as the Affordable Health Care Act. So they're saying, well, he's just going to get rid of Obamacare. I just hope he keeps Affordable Health Care Act. You idiot. It's the same thing.
Right. Same
So
thing.
now they're starting to realize that their health care and their Social Security and their Medicaid is at risk. So
Mhm.
and we'll get to all that, but I just wanted to acknowledge and salute to our Black men and our Black women who understood the assignment, did everything that we could do. And if you felt like, you know what, it's on y'all, y'all got it. Y'all
Mhm.
got it. I was right there with you. I was right there with you.
Right. And you are so right. Mrs. Muffet, yes, we are human and humans feel. Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all time, and a brother is born for adversity. Real friends stick closer than family, loving unconditionally. That's right. Again, keep your circles tight. I have to say this to you, Micah. I had a client tonight in my office, and he is really struggling with where he is with his life. And I said, it's all right, we open with prayer. He said, yes, yes. But I did not hit him with God, 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 because that's not where he needed to be. He knows who I am, what I stand for. And I believe when you know, and everybody may not know what this platform is about, and Live to Be Well as a Christian psychotherapist, that's who I am and what I do. But when some people come to me, I have to recognize that they need a space to cry, to hurt, to feel. And they can't be hit over the head with God, 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 God. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but you have to know how to approach people spiritually at the
You got to
right
read the room.
place.
Read
You
the
have
room.
to read the room. You have to. And he said, I want to thank you for allowing me to feel. He said, not one time did I, bring up, religion or spirituality. I said, you are hurting. You are your life. He's an anesthesiologist, but he's bored. He said, should I play golf? I don't know what I need to do, but I don't have a next in my life. And that would
But
be a
but
good boy.
also, but also in regards to that, you don't have to, if you love God and that's who you are and what you are, it will come out
It will
in
come
just
out.
your being. You don't have
Yeah,
to
right.
prove it. Because what I've also learned with this election is there's a lot of people that's walking around here claiming that they're Christian, but they have a lot of hate in their heart. And this
Yeah,
election proved that.
right.
This
And
election
pride.
proved
Oh,
that
yeah,
there's a lot of people using Christianity, but you really got a lot of hate in your heart, a lot of racism, a lot of misogynistic views, and so forth and
right,
so on.
right,
So if you really are about that, then you say, you know what? I'm gonna just be myself. I'm gonna just be myself. I'm gonna just love them. I'm going to hear them, listen to them, and that's what he needs. And as he's at a place in his life where he's trying to figure out his next or his pivot
right.
or his pivot, it'll come. But what you have to do with people, a lot of times people forget to establish relationship before they try to, and I call it God bombing. Like, don't God bomb me. Try to see who I am. Let me get to know who you are. Let us
Right,
establish
right.
relationship so
Mhm,
there's a level of comfort. So
mhm,
then as we grow, then
mhm,
you can come in with those type of things.
mhm. For
And
sure.
a lot of these things, as you meet strangers, think about your inner circle. When you're talking to your inner circle, to your friends, are you able to really be transparent with them? Or are they trying to always try to fix your problem? Do they really take the time to listen to you? Do they listen to respond? Are they listening to understand? Are you listening to respond? Are you listening to understand? Ask yourself these questions, because a lot of these tools you can practice with your circle before you take them into other spaces
Yes.
with strangers.
That's correct. That is so true. That's a good point. You're on fire tonight. All right. I think we need to look at a couple of things here. And I hear your passion. I hear your concern. And I thank God. And he's coming back for another session because I did not, really approach him in a way that he could not relate to. Let's
You
go to
allowed them to be
someone.
human.
I allowed him to feel and be human. Hi, Dr. Denise. Yes, they are not keepers of Jesus, said was the second greatest commandment. Yes. And Dr. Katrina, it is so important that we meet our clients where they are. Yes, meet them where they are. God bless you, Doc. Bobby Andrews, good evening, beloved. Good evening, Bobby. God bless you, my classmate from Oakwood. All right, we're going to go to some of our comments. Thank you for joining us tonight on Live Be Well with ML6, my co-host. And we're talking about, making sure you keep your circles tight. How tight are your circles? Keep your circle tight. That's very important, okay? And some people may even call it a clique, but we'll talk about that. Why should we be careful about who we allow in our circle? All right, let's read the first comment. Let's read our first comment. All right, David Braswell. What communion has light with darkness? I agree with that. Kathy Broyle, because when you associate with the wise, you become wise. That's right. Victoriously Halliburton, that's one of our family members. Everyone's spirit is not alike or kindred spirit. Some spirits are not or should not be attachable. Very good. Unless you headed in the same direction, honoring, loving, caring, worshiping the same God, and working towards us the same purpose. Very good, cuz. Gary Humphrey, all are welcome. Just know who they are and believe they are who they show themselves to be. Move accordingly. Very good, Gary. Juliet Gray Williams. The old saying, birds of a feather flock together. If you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. Yes, the company we impact us, the company we keep impacts us, or you are in denial. All right. Denise Johnson. All right. The elephants, zebras, and the gazelles encircle themselves and their young to protect them from the lions, leopards, and hyenas. It would make little sense if they then turn around and allow those predators to come inside. Why should we, human predators, can not only destroy physically, but also emotionally and spiritually? Keep them out for our and the vulnerable safety. All right. Jarrell Shine, because birds of a feather will eventually flock together. Anthony Green, I can't allow squares in our circle. Okay. I like that. Natasha Comer, kind can hinder our blessing. It can, Natasha. Bobby Lee Andrews, for me, as long as I keep Christ in center of my circle, to be seen of everyone who comes in, that becomes his responsibility. That's right, Bobby. I do agree with that. Jamel Dorset, well, first, everyone may not be appreciative of the circle you've worked so hard to secure. Secondly, certain people are just squares. They just too round together with others. Okay, Micah, take the last three.
I cannot see it. I'm on my phone. I
Okay,
can't see it. It's too small.
okay, Rochelle from Chicago, because everyone doesn't want to see us succeed. Clarissa Winston Jones, the impact of a Judas can linger longer after they have been cut off. And Kate Ford, emotionally safety. Sharice Joyce Bone always said, dogs that bring a bone to you will take bones to someone else. All right. And Tracy Wright, 100. Cousin BB, because they could be jealous of you and hateful. Joyce Bone, sugar and salt look the same. Ooh, Sister Bone. And cousin Kendrick Typo. BB Felix, I know me myself look like good vibes around me. Zandra Griffin, association begets assimilation. You are right, Zandra. All right. Well, you all really came through tonight on why should we be careful about who we allow in our circle. Micah, let's talk about that comment. You said that you should keep your friends close. And Tanya Dykes, my circle is no more but a straight line. All right, she said. You hear what Tanya said, Micah? My circle is no more but a straight line. And you talked about you should be able to count the number of people you have in your friendship circle on one hand.
Oh, I said no. I said you have to be able to check your top 5 people.
Yes, check
Check
your
your
top
top 5 people that you talk to on a regular basis. Most people talk to
five.
about 3 to 5 people literally every single day. Do those people, are they in alignment with your views? Do they bring high value to your life? Do they
Mm-hmm.
bring accountability to your life? Do they bring laughter and joy to your life? And do they fill you up more than they drain you? Those are some of the questions that you should ask about the top 5 people in your life. And ask yourself that question about yourself. Are you draining? Like seriously, are you draining? Like how many people out there before you pick up the phone to spill out, do you ever take the time to ask the person before you do it, do you have the capacity to handle this today?
Mm-hmm.
What are you dealing with personally before I dump on you?
Mm-hmm.
My older sister always asks me every single day, how is your energy?
That's
That's the
good.
first question she asks me every single day. How is your energy? And we respond honestly. And we continue our conversation from that response.
Mm-hmm.
She
Okay.
knows when to give me space. She knows when to boom, 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 boom with the text. She'll come back later on at night. Hey, I hope you're okay. I'll check on your energy later. Vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do you pick up the phone before you dump on someone and ask them, do they have the capacity to handle what it is that you need to share?
That's good.
If
That's
that's
very good.
not a question that you ask, you may need to start.
Yes.
Because oftentimes we get so comfortable that we just pick up the phone, da 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 da. I have to catch myself all the time when I call my best friend. Like before, I may have something, and she can usually tell by how I address her, what's up, and I'd be like,
Mhm.
no, how are you? How is Tristan? What's going on? Da 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 da. I want to see what's going on with her before I even share. Now there are times where I just go, and vice versa, but I like to make sure that I'm at
Mhm.
least acknowledging, hey, how are you today?
Mhm.
And then she'd be like, I'm okay. What's up? And I'd be like, no, no, no. What's was that? She'd be like, no, no, no. What's really good? What's going on with you?
Mhm.
And from there, we have our conversation.
Mhm.
But I at least want to make sure I'm acknowledging her and what she may have going on in that day. That's what I say about examining your circle and
Yes.
asking those specific questions. And also, what I say about being mindful of who you bring into your life and into your circles and who you welcome in. Prime example,
Mhm.
Dr. Phil. We welcomed Dr. Phil into our homes for years.
Oh yeah.
And what did Dr. Phil get up there and do? Because Kamala Harris's team did not answer his phone calls, he went up on that stage and endorsed Donald Trump.
Mhm. Mhm. Again, be
That's what he did.
careful.
How many
Yeah.
black women? How many black women loved everything Dr. Phil because another black woman
Yeah.
brought him into our spaces, so we trusted her. Therefore, we thought we could trust him. The
Right.
reality of the situation is he was never to be trusted.
Yes.
Never to be trusted. Dr. Oz, never to be trusted. And they did it on the backs of another black woman.
Mhm.
And all I could think about and wonder, like, I wonder how Oprah feels right now.
Oh my. Because she
I wonder how
introduced
Oprah feels because she
she introduced
introduced these
those
two
people to us.
nut
Yeah.
jobs to us.
Mhm.
This is why I say we got to be careful when we walk them into our spaces. Another example, Paula White. She came under the backs of black pastors. And because she could hoop and holler like the best of them, we welcomed her into religious spaces, all to find out she was a traitor of all traitors, calling down African angels. Girl, what?
I heard that.
Girl, what?
Mhm.
Literally, get thee behind me, Satan.
Mhm. Mhm.
We have to be careful about who we welcome into our
Yes.
spaces, not just in our personal circles, but
But
in our overall
overall, so
spaces.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Not everybody, not everybody is welcome to the cookout.
That's right. That's right. You got to be particular. You have to be particular and specific. Let's talk a little bit about the psychological impact of what happens when you welcome these individuals into your circles. And I see it every day when I'm treating people. They feel betrayed, they feel lost, they feel confused, and they don't know how to really bounce back. And, Dr. Phil, the way he has dealt with people and how he looks at
And
people.
he got his license revoked. So
Yeah,
we have to.
yes, yes, his license has been revoked. And so when you look at different circumstances, you cannot well, this is what Dr. Phil says. Who are you getting your wealth of knowledge from? And I know we as Christians, the word of God, but you need to make sure that you are collaborating with people who are agreeing with what is right and good and truthful and honest. And sometimes it's going to be a slap on the hand because you may not want to hear that truth, but it is the truth to help you make a paradigm shift to make a better decision in your life and be healthy on the other side of that spectrum. Because on one side of the spectrum of the clinical aspect is I am lost. I'm confused. How do I get to point A to point Z? Well, we still got to get to point B, C, and D. And we have to take the steps slowly but carefully. And this is why, again, what Micha was saying, you must be careful who you allow to get you from point A, B, C, and D, because everyone does not have your best interest at heart, and they are not spiritually or clinically or therapeutically wise enough. They can do more damage. I remember a pastor called me. He said, listen, He said, Dr. Kim, I need you because I'm a pastor, I'm a bishop, but I don't know anything about psychological therapeutic and all this other stuff. I can do more damage to my congregation. So I'm going to send my people over to you. And he's been doing it ever since. And I acknowledge him. I appreciate him. But at the same time, he knew he could not go into that circle. That's very important. Know your boundaries and the
Let me,
limitations that you have.
but I also, in relation to that, I've never understood why having a minor in psychology is not something that is a requirement for theology majors.
Oh, it should be
I've
a
never
it should be a
understood that.
major. It should be a
Never understood.
major.
Even if it's not a required minor, why is it not the fact that they're taking psychology courses?
Right,
You can listen, you can Greek me down, you can analyze the scripture down, woo wop, you can do all of that. But
right,
if you don't even have the practical tools to have a conversation with me away from that, what are we doing?
right. Because you're not qualified.
What, you're not qualified. Yes,
Right,
you are a pastor. You can give me all the type of spiritual marriage counseling, premarital counseling you want to, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this thing.
right,
Are we really compatible?
right.
I will always respect a theology major or whatever in other denominations that they call it, that take the time to understand psychology and incorporate that with, because so many pastors and bishops out here do not have the proper training for that.
Right.
They don't have it. And so before you go and sit down with your pastor, with your bishop, again, no shade to them, but you also need to make sure that you have a clinical psychologist on the side as well to help you further along.
That's
And
correct.
if your pastor or bishop says, oh no, or discourages you against that, that's a red flag. That's
That
a
is
red
a
flag.
red flag. And it's important that you know and understand how you are navigating. There are some internal and external stressors that you have to be aware of. And that's a red flag. If that person cannot get to the nitty-gritty of why I am the way I am, how did I get here? It could be childhood trauma. And you have to know the vernacular to understand how to help people. I can sit in a therapeutic counseling session just like this. And then I can tell a person, because of my training and my years of experience and the Holy Spirit giving me discernment, I know that it is something dealing with childhood trauma. It's something to deal with. You were molested, you were hurt, you were abandonment issues, rejection, anxiety, stress, separation disorder. There's something going on that is causing you to react the way that you do. And I can help you get to the bottom line, and we can get to those triggers. But if not, you're going to put yourself in the wrong circle that's going to cause you with the wrong people, and aligning yourself that's going to do you more hurt and make you more vulnerable to those individuals to take advantage of you. You do not want
Well,
to take advantage. Kathy said, yes, you have to be careful who we welcome into our circles. Yes, Kathy.
here's a question for the listening
Oh, wait,
audience.
Micah, wait a minute. Pastors need to refer rather than commit pastoral malpractice.
This is true.
Woo! Come on,
And
Dr. Denise.
also, and I will say this, pastors should also have a therapist for themselves.
Yes. Oh,
Pastors
without
should
a
not
doubt.
be out here walking without having a therapist, because what they're carrying, the weight in which they're carrying, they also have to be able to have a release and a relief for that. And because they are human, they are men and they are women. Yes, they have a pastoral role, they do all the things, but they are still human. And so they should have somebody that they go and talk to. If your
Okay.
pastor has a therapist, I say that that is a green flag. That is a plus one. That is nothing that should be looked at like, why you got a therapist as my pastor? Yes, pastor. You going to therapy? Make sure you go to therapy, pastor. Make
That's
sure
it.
you take care of you. You've poured in us, taken care of us. Make sure you. That should be something a pastor
Okay.
encourage to get to have someone that he can talk to. I also have a question I want to say. When is the last time that you went through your Facebook friend list
Huh.
and did a detox.
And did detox.
When is the last
Then
time you
then
went through your
Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, all of your social media and did a purge? Because
Yes.
here's the thing, it may look good to have a lot of followers, it may look good to be following a lot of people, but some people really are not or should not be in your virtual space.
I agree
If
with
I
that.
see
I
something
agree.
on that I don't like, and then I'm getting mad at the person for them posting something that I don't like, why don't I just delete the person, unfollow the person, mute the person? They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be them. I control what comes across my timeline. When is the last time that you did that? These are
Mm-hmm.
just questions. You can answer them yourself. You can even do it. But I know that I had to take a step back and I had to I do it once, maybe twice a year. I go through and I
Right.
see who serves a purpose. Whose
To serve
content
the
do I
purpose.
really care? Whose content do I really care about seeing?
Okay. Okay.
It's okay
Okay.
to free yourself of that. That is also protecting your circles.
That's it. That's it. I like that. I like that. Because Mike always tells me, Mom, you need to defriend or unfriend these people and clean
Like
this out.
why are you following this person? What is the purpose of you following this
Right.
person?
What is the
If
relationship?
someone comes through my timeline and I'm like, I gotta really think, who is this person?
Right.
I don't know this person. You know what? It's okay for me to free myself of them. It's
Right.
okay. It's
Everyone,
okay.
okay, put that one back up. Everyone is not meant to be in your circle through your journey God has ordained. That's right. That's right, Brittany.
I was
You
actually
know,
having this conversation. I was actually
oh,
having this
wait.
conversation with one
Hold
of
on. Pastors are human like anyone else. They also have issues that need to be addressed. That's what Micah just said, Diane. That's what that Micah just said. Go ahead, Micah.
I was having a conversation with one of my close friends, just like Melissa Martin, and we were talking about our friendship circle. We've literally had just us six since we were, let's see, three of us knew each other from birth. The other three knew each other from birth. I came in and it's like we all became just us six. Cause you had to think, come in, Ryan, Ashley, and myself, we knew each other from birth. And then you had Camille and Melissa. And then they were all at City Temple. I came in from Burns, and then it created just us six. I told Melissa, I said, I believe in my heart of hearts that our friend group is literally God ordained. There hasn't been, now each of us have different best friends outside of our Just Us Six group. But I do strongly believe that there is something special about the fact that 40 plus years of friendship to this day, to this day, and many have tried to come in and do whatever the case may be. But it was something special that we felt was about us.
Yeah.
I said, my friend groups, the people in my life, I do believe are assigned to my life.
Mm-hmm.
Out here, I don't feel a lack of friendship in LA because my friend groups outside of are so very strong and powerful and purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out here sitting around like, oh man, I wish I had some friends to go out with. I don't feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because the friends that I do have, they serve such a purposeful purpose in my life that I don't feel lack. I don't feel lack.
I understand. I do understand. I do understand. All right. So, didn't she, Kathy? She's been given a word tonight. She's been preaching tonight. You know, Mrs. Muffet, chill often. I have 210 friends. Laugh out loud. I need to go through, and I've been deleting people off my social media, and I've been listening to what my daughter says because she's revamping my pages. She's reorganizing and rebranding me with another company, and she says, "Mom, we've got to." You don't need all this. What is the purpose? And does it bring purpose to your life? And so I agree with that. Now, what have we been talking about tonight? We've been talking about number one, keeping your circle tight. Why? Because it's very important how you navigate and making sure that you protect your internal, external stressors. Make sure you recognize that you will be triggered by individuals who are not healthy for you. If it's not a healthy relationship, please think about how you can terminate that relationship. Be polite, be kind, but terminate that relationship. Now, I'm not talking about in a marriage. You need to go to counseling. You need to get some help. And this is why I'm doing pre-dating counseling now. I'm doing friendship counseling now, helping people understand, what do I bring to the table? What do I bring to our relationship? Then understanding the impact of a plan. You have to understand in your circle, and making sure who's in that circle understand the plan, the purpose, and being intentional of how that person is going to, enhance your life and how they're going to better your life. Marie, I've known you for years. I've known you for over 25 years, and you are in my circle. I may not talk to you every day, but you have purpose. You and Kathy have purpose in my life. Norma, I recently met you through social media, coming out to Ypsilanti Church. You have purpose in my life. There are people that have purpose in my life that I want to keep in my life. Now, let me say this to you. Please set boundaries, set clear boundaries. Be honest with yourself. So you can lie to some of the people some of the time, but you've got to be honest with yourself. Don't be lying at all, but you cannot fool God and you cannot fool yourself, because you've got to wake up and say, I can't live like this anymore. And then you've got to recognize the impact of your purpose, and then how the enemy will distract you from doing what God has called you to do, because you have all this naysaying going on that has no purpose in your life. So these are some of the things I wanted to bring out in keeping your circle tight and protect your mental space. Protect that mental space. Micha?
So I called my mom earlier today because with all the things that have been happening and transpiring and things that are being uncovered and developed and really being brought to light as we go toward the future, I told her, I said, hey, get with your people. And I said that I would share this with you all. Now is the time to really form community. It's really the time to have a community outside of your family, but a strong community to really get through these next 4 to 8 years and what's to come. I told my mom, I said, hey, if you got a garden, you need to have somebody else that got a garden. If they got a garden, everybody needs to be growing vegetables. If you got a backyard, you
Yep.
need to be growing vegetables. If somebody is growing the tomatoes, the cucumbers, you're going to grow the watermelon and all the other stuff. Now is the time to form community and to have strong community, tight community, trusted community.
That's right. That's
That
right.
is what is really going to get us through when things hit the fan. I don't want nobody to be, yes, we are covered under the blood of Jesus. I get all of that. But we also going to be smart. We also are going to be smart.
Just
We are
was a
going to
dog,
make
like you said.
sure, we are going to make sure that our business is in order. Our finances are in order as much as they can be. You all make sure your health care is in order.
Oh, yes.
You all make sure if you have children, because what's going to happen is they're trying to get rid of the Department of Education. Do you hear me? They're trying to get rid of the Department of Education. What does that
Education.
mean? That's FAFSAs, that's Pell Grants, that's anything that actually will help us as a people, elevate.
Yes.
They're trying to make it harder. And don't get it twisted. The reason they're trying to have these major deportation acts, these major deportation is, you go back to when that man said they're taking black jobs, because in their mind, we're supposed to read between the lines, people.
Micha, you froze. Say that again. You
There,
froze.
when he said they're taking black jobs, he was
Yeah.
talking about labor work.
Yes.
They feel like we are supposed to be back in the fields.
Yeah.
So I And in these last few moments, I just want to encourage everyone listening to us to gather your communities, please, and make sure they're trusted communities.
Okay, we
That's
have
really
a
it.
that's it. That's powerful. We have a request in the comment. Dr. Kim, will you speak more on protecting your mental space? Is so important. Yes, Dr.
Oh,
Katrina. Oh yeah, and Dr. Katrina, you've got to join. You must join Mike and I on our broadcast during the holiday blues. When we talk about protecting our mental space, I am speaking about having a armor around you so that you will recognize certain triggers that will stimulate you to respond in a negative way. There are people out there particularly assigned to just aggravate you. The Bible said there are people who love darkness and they will push your buttons to get you to overreact. There was a situation here in in on one of the suburbs at one of the stores, and this black man was there, and they purposely kept triggering him, aggravating him till he hit someone. They were waiting to arrest him. And how many times did his niece tell him, don't go in that area? They are there just to aggravate you. And he said that he just could not hold it. He was just so sick of it. Be mindful of how you are going to respond, your mental space, your mental capacity, your ability to be able to engage in this type of negativity. Separate yourself from anything that's going to cause you to deplete that healthy energy. Keep your energy at a level where I'm not using my energy for anything negative. I'm not going to allow it to be tainted by your situation. Your problem, I'm sorry you're going through that, but I don't have to carry that baggage. Now, if you want to carry it and help them, Dr. Katrina, that's fine. That's our job. That's what we do. But in my relationships, I have formed an allegiance with my God, with myself, to protect what I have. And do you know also, can I say this, Micah and Dr. Katrina? We have to understand that stress and depression and anxiety, all of this causes physical health problems. It can cause and mimic heart attacks. It can cause headaches. It can cause migraines, backaches, shoulder pains. Stress is something that creeps in and it can take you out of here. It's a silent killer. So again, the mental health capacity is not capable to taking on every aspect. You have the frontal lobe, the conscious mind, the subconscious, and the brain is divided into 4 lobes because one lobe cannot handle every aspect. And the right side of the brain versus the left side of the brain has to function in their capacity to be able to function on a daily basis. So let me say this, let me sum all that up. Your mental health is the key to your functioning ability and how you live your life. If your mental health is thrown off, you do not want to eat, get out of bed, go to work, you don't want to exercise, you just want to die. Mike, I have to tell you something. And Doc, I have to say this. I had a 6th grader came in my office on Sunday, and she told me that I'm tired of living in a routine. I get up, I wash my face, I take a shower, I brush my teeth, I get dressed, and I go to school. She said, what is it all for? Why am I living like this through routines? She said, my mental health is so impacted, and I had to get to the root. It wasn't the routine of what was going on. It was how she was being treated at school by her peer group, Micah, her circle. And I helped her to understand that you cannot give up on your life and your life goals because of that inner circle who mistreats you. School is very important. However, that social development is crucial to how we're going to navigate through our jobs, through our church community, home community. All of that's important. So I asked her, would she just give it an opportunity? And we're going to pray for one good friend. She said she doesn't have one friend in school. And I know how she felt Because Micah, you remember me, what I went through going through school, and mom didn't have a lot of friends. That's why I value Marie and Kathy and Auntie Patty and Dawn. And I value people in my life because it's so important. Tanya Dykes. But the thing about it is I had to learn, if I had to stand alone, I was prepared to do that. But everyone can't do that. And that's where suicide comes in. They don't know how to stand alone. And so our job as mental health professionals is to provide the right tools and the right experiences around them, give them the experience of knowing that they can go beyond the situation, tap into the good in their lives, not what they don't have, but what they do have. And that's what I told my little sixth grader. So she said she'll be back this Sunday to talk about her week. And she said, and you think about this, Micah, what does a 11-year-old have to worry about? But
Well,
they do.
they have different
Right.
pressures
Different
now
pressures. Yes, they
than
do.
what I had and what you had. They got
That's
social media, they have roadblocks, they have all of
right.
these things. They have, their lives are social media
That's
and what
it.
they see. Everything is in their hand.
That's right.
So they're not experiencing life in reality. They're experiencing it virtually.
Yes.
And then they're trying to then be in physical reality type this life. And it's like they're trying to, there's a confusion there. This is why, like, if you have a young child, really encourage like play dates
Right.
without the electronics.
Right. Very, very good.
And I'm not talking about just for children that are toddlers. I'm talking about 11, 12, 13. If you fathers hear me and hear me well, get your boys together, get the young boys together. Y'all go play some basketball.
Right. Get out
Go
of the
play some
house.
football.
Get out. Get
Go
out.
to go to a go kart racing. This is what I'm talking about. This is also part of community. Have conversations with these young men, teach them what it is. Like, hey, let them learn from you, and you all learn from them, and engage in conversation. Affirm them. Ladies, get with your girls. If you have girls, take them somewhere. Let's go make candles. Let's go make perfume. We can go play. We can go kart racing and laser tagging. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like creating spaces for them outside. No electronics.
Right.
Nothing. Unless it's an emergency, we are having conversation, we are talking, and these are things that should be done on a regular basis because these kids are experiencing life virtually, not in
Virtually with
reality.
them.
And they're going to have a hard time because the fact that these children don't even know how to write in cursive is baffling.
Oh,
They don't even know how to write in cursive.
no, they
Think
don't.
about that.
I had a case
So
this week.
imagine them having conversation. Imagine what they're exchanging back and forth. It's the
Right.
blind leading the blind.
And I have students who they did when I was teaching at the college who would write their papers as if they were texting. And I had a client last week, who didn't understand, what do you mean cursive? He could not write his name, and I had to show him how to write his name to sign the document for his short-term disability. I said, you must learn. I gave him a writing lesson right there. Let me tell you what's another thing. I know we got to wrap this up. If your children, I don't care what age, they come in the house and you're sitting there watching television, then they go into their rooms and there's no dialogue, no communication. And they get into this routine of this is how it's done. That is unhealthy. Cut the television off, mom and dad. Let's go. You're 16, 17, 18. 19. Let's get out of this house and let's go do something. And Micah, we were always gone. And my mother always made sure we were doing something. Even if you don't have the money, get out and take a walk with your kids. Get out and take a drive if you can. If you don't have the gas, I don't care. But you've got to change the paradigm. You must shift it, or we're going to lose that community of engaging, communicating, and coming together. You know what? Sabbath dinner and Sunday dinner with Big Mama was so important because that was our community, and we got a chance to do what? Dialogue. That's how we learned to dialogue. and we learn
Yeah.
to communicate and share. And that why it's so important. And I thank God for that. Listen, Micah, we got to bring this back and we're going to continue the dialogue about this. You were great, Micah. You know, I always say to my daughter, if she wasn't my biological child, I would want her to be my best friend. She's such an amazing person. And I thank God for allowing me to raise such a
Thank
beautiful
you.
woman. And so until next week, we want you to be mindful of who you allow in your circles and keep that circle tight. Go in there and clean out that social media, and that includes Dr. Kim. Take care of your mental health space. Love on you, love in your space. Take care of you. You know, seek God's will. Make sure that God is leading you. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thy own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. May God bless you. God bless you, Dr. Trina. God bless you, Brittany, all of those that were on tonight. And to ML6, Al Rogers, thank you so much. And what do we say, Micah? Live to be well.
Live to be well.
God bless you. Good night.